Hi guys, Valerie here from A Stitch in Life. I wanted to show you something that I found secondhand, and I actually find a lot of these at the thrift store. It's this little pamphlet. You can actually find vintage books. Violette's down here with me. Vintage books or other kind of sewing books, and just because they're old does not mean that they're not relevant today. They absolutely are, because sewing is sewing. There's not just one way to do things, but it definitely has a method to it. This one is from 1952. I just looked inside the cover here, and it has things that maybe we don't necessarily do anymore, like all these kinds of different stitches that now we have machines to do, but like a buttonhole. But there's hand sewing buttonholes, which you can absolutely still do today. This is kind of more for wool, it looks like. And then this is a bound buttonhole. And when I was in school, I went to fashion design school, and when we had to do different kinds of sewing and techniques, we actually did a whole series of different kinds of buttonholes. Bound buttonholes was one of them. And we worked with this really beautiful wool. There's how to gather, which is still relevant, obviously. You can do one row of gathers or two, which actually looks like they did three, depending on how thick your fabric is. And I tend to do two because it's actually makes it a lot easier to gather that way and get a good even gather. There's different ways to do overcast seam, stitch seam, bound seam, and a lot of these are actually even done hand sewing. So this is darts and a diamond dart, like in the middle of a dress. If you're wearing a dress, there's like a diamond dart that you could do. Yeah, this is really cool. And it takes you step by step, and there's pictures, because yes, a lot of us are visual learners, right? And this you'll see a lot in most books, how to alter patterns to make them bigger, where you would cut it and where you would add width or length to it. Because it's not just the side seam. It's not like you just add it on the side seam. No, that would not be accurate. You would add it right in the middle, usually, because you still want to leave that curve of the hem. You don't want to just add it to the bottom. You want to split it. So yeah, these are really cool if you ever find these. I have a lot of books too that are sewing books. I have some from the 80s. I have some from the 50s and the 60s. Obviously, there's some pretty funky fashions in there. A lot of vests, right? Bell bottoms, which actually are in style now. So it's relevant to what you're trying to accomplish, whether the style is in or not. So yeah, always look for those. I'm going to go and look for some other books to show you. Hi guys. I actually could not find that book. I think I packed it away because we're packing to move. But I did find some others that I have on hand. Those two are actually the Reader's Digest Book of Sewing, Complete Book of Sewing. I have two versions of them, and I bought them at the thrift store. One is from the 80s and one is from the 70s, I think. So the fashions are actually different in them, and I bought them both because they were different and because I could find some extras in there that I didn't have in the other one. But you do see those. That is a very good book. It's a pretty thick book. But these are the other ones that I just found. So here's a ABC of embroidery, and it's just a little booklet. But like I said, if you were looking to learn just how things are done, or how to do basics, these books are great. Like, they show you how to do the fly stitch, French knot, what does it say? Scroll stitch, and the blanket stitch, which actually a lot of people use the blanket stitch still today. So those are basic. It doesn't give you everything, obviously, but it does give you some. This also gives you cross stitching. Lazy daisy stitch, very cute. But the other thing is, look, this counting cross stitch, pretty cool, huh? And gingham is the easiest to use that for. So yeah, that's one of them. Okay, this book doesn't look like anything, but oops, upside down. It is The Complete Book of Sewing. So this book I got for a birthday present from a friend of mine, who might have got it probably at an antique store, I'm guessing. Let's see what year this is. It looks like the 40s. 1943. Oh, revised, 1949. But this also shows you, I hear the baby crying up there. She's fine. She's just being fussy. Different collars. She's with Daddy right now. Trimmings, how to do frogs. Just, these are different. This is great. I showed this on my Instagram. It's accessories throughout the year, like what to wear to change up your look for the different seasons. And it actually goes month by month. If you go over to my Instagram at A Stitch in Life, you will see a little close-up video of that. Just really cool. It does show you some tailoring if you are interested in that. Tailoring is a whole nother beast if you like it. Of course, it has like how to do drapes and stuff around the house. All these books, which is funny, have how to make your own underwear. But when they say underwear, they actually mean like pajamas, not just bras and panties and boxers and all that. They're talking about everything that you wear at home, you know, in private or whatever. And this even tells you, it gives you stuff for linens. Does that say linen? I'm sorry. Rayon. And tests for stabilizing rayon. I mean, it might not be anything that you'd use, but it is interesting to read. It tells you how to press clothing, teaching your daughter to sew. There's a whole section on that. Here's the lounging underwear, kind of cute, right? Anyways, if you are interested in vintage sewing and just vintage garments in general, these books are really great to find. Okay, so these two are more crafty. Actually, a friend of mine bought them for me, and they're all about t-shirt upcycling. And you can actually find these too at the thrift store sometimes. Here's a pair of little kids' pants, how to make them from a t-shirt. And all of the instructions tell you, there he is, cute, tells you how many shirts to use, and it's all done with hand sewing, so you don't even need a machine to do it. This one did have kids stuff in it, but they don't all. Some of them are just. So that's this one. And there's some weird stuff in there, but there's also some really good stuff. And then this is the second one they came out with. I think this is the second one instead of the first one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I even have marked some of the things that I like in here that I've used to make, to upcycle t-shirts. Some of them don't even need sewing. You can just tie it on the side. Anyways, here's a cute skirt with t-shirts. So especially if you find good graphics on t-shirts that are super cool, or ones that you have and you're like, this t-shirt's worn or it doesn't fit me anymore, what can I do with it? That's a great book to have. And actually, I have something on my Instagram as well that shows you how to just cut up the back of a t-shirt, turn it around backwards, and just have it be a little like jacket or a little cover-up thing. Super simple, and you get to save the t-shirt, and it looks really cute. So yeah, definitely check out the thrift store in the book section, and you never know what you're gonna find. Especially if you like to, or always interested in doing like crochet or knitting or something like that. Those books at least show you the basics of it, so you can try it. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you later.